Territories, part number 1, titled Scaling New Heights. Chapter number 2, titled Conditioned to Take Over. Conditioned to take over. Oceana to Jehovah, you are the air that I breathe. Hallelujah, hallelujah. In you I live and move and have my Hosanna to Jehovah, you are the air that I breathe. Hallelujah, hallelujah. In you I live and move and have my being. Hosanna, Hosanna to Jehovah, You are the air that Can we rise up to our feet? Hallelujah, hallelujah. In you I live and move. From the bottom of your heart, from the bottom of your heart. Hosanna to Jehovah, you are the air that I breathe. Hallelujah, hallelujah. For the very last time. Everybody.
Have my peace.
Nothing without you. Nothing without you. Nothing without you. Numbers chapter 13, the verses 26 to 33. Somebody, you're there, pastors. Choir, if you're there, use the mic to read. Sharp up, sharp up, sharp up, sharp up, sharp up, sharp up, sharp up.
Numbers chapter 13 from verse 26 to 33. And they went and came to Moses and to Aaron and to all the congregation of the children of Israel unto the wilderness of Paran, to Kadesh, and brought back word unto them and unto all the congregation, and showed them the fruit of the land. And they told him and said, We came unto the land whither thou sendest us, and surely it floweth with milk and honey, and this is the fruit of it. Nevertheless, the people be strong that dwell in the land, and the cities are walled and very great. And moreover, we saw the children of Anak there. The Amalekites dwell in the land of the south, and the Hittite and the Jebusite and the Amorite dwell in the mountains, and the Canaanites dwell by the sea and by the coast of Jordan. And Caleb stilled the people before Moses and said,
in other words, Caleb shut up the people
and said, Let us go up at once and possess it, for we are well able to overcome it. But the men that went up with him said, We be not able to go up against the people, for they are stronger than we. And they brought up an evil report of the land which they had searched unto the children of Israel, saying, The land through which we have gone to search is a land that eateth up the inhabitants thereof, and all the people that we saw in it are men of a great stature. And there we saw the giants, the sons of Anak, which come of the giants, and we were in our own sight as grasshoppers, and so we were in their sight.
The Lord bless his word in Jesus' name. It was time for the children of Israel to move on to take over a territory that God for years. So if Jacob, son of Abraham, who is father of Joseph, lived for 140, Abraham died at 135, and Abraham was 75 when God showed him Canaan, that to you and to your seed after you will give this land. 75, Abraham died at 35. That's how many years? That should be 55 years. 55 years plus how many years that Isaac lived to give birth to Jacob? Then how many years Jacob lived to give birth to Isaac? No, Jacob lived to give birth to Joseph, sorry. And Joseph lived to prophesy 110 years. To prophesy a promised land that will happen in 430 years. And from that day, it never took them many years to come to the place where they could view their new territory. In the first service, we're looking at how mentality reduces men from the occupation of territory. And in this second service, we want to see how, after conditioning the mind, we can take over territories by conditioning the self. One of man's problems is that there are people whose mind are conditioned and their hearts are afraid. Mind conditioned for it, heart is afraid to take the action. We have seen the land. It is the same as God told us. See, oh yeah, these are the fruits. Am I not telling you? We have seen it. It is truly flowing with milk and honey. Nevertheless, that is where everything got spoiled. Listen to me. There is this mistake. Believers go for a job and they are intimidated by how many people they see there. Frightened. The one manager for the place, see only the way that man wears suit, wear tie. Now already manager. You give your vote. A man lost an election by one vote. And sadly, after that election, he verified just to discover that he voted his opponent. So the vote with which he was supposed to win, he gave it to his opponent. And his opponent did not vote him. Then I told him, in your heart, not your mind. Your mind wanted you to be this. Your heart preferred that man to be it. And these spies came back. Wonderful report. Moses, Aaron, Israel, this land is wonderful. Lovely. See, there is nothing you want that is not there. We struggle to harvest samples to come and show you. And just at the time that Israel was clapping, wow, finally God has honored his word. They say nevertheless. Nevertheless is a very long word. Dictionary provides it as one word. Nevertheless. It can be combined into one. That long word means but. And anytime but punctures a sentence, it has become two different sentences, and the latter contradicts the former. That is where it went bad. No, the land is wonderful, but we are afraid. And the report of these men spoiled the hearts of all the children of Israel. Spoiled them. And that became a major problem. An evil report of men who had not conditioned themselves to go in to possess kept them bound for 40 years. Only for a new generation that has the charisma to go possess to be raised. What does it mean to be conditioned? Number one, to be conditioned means to be stimulated with a stipulated response to any situation. To be conditioned means you are stimulated. You are stimulated with stipulated response. See how Jesus sent his disciples. Go into the village in front of you. At the entrance, you see a donkey tied. Untie it. If anybody asks you anything, tell him that the master wants it. See the way the guys just went. They had been stimulated. Something was working. See, when a car has been started by the key, the engine has been stimulated. It can accept any gear and begin to run. Who are you? What are you doing with that donkey? The master needs it. And they were just going. No further response. No further talking. Stimulated with a stipulated response to situations. The time you take to configure answers to situations is the moment that victory takes place. As a child of God, you should have scriptures in your spirit that are the stimulations of the actions you take. And that any man talk to you, you defend from scriptural point of view why I am doing this thing. You don't just come and you are talking. Jesus was teaching the other day in John chapter 8. I say, you people are slaves. They say, we are not slaves. We are freeborn, children of Abraham. He said, if you are children of Abraham, you do what Abraham, your father, did. Because Abraham knew me before he was. And they say, what? What are you talking about? And they began, he was talking scripture. 12 years, he went into the temple. I was teaching her those things day before yesterday. A man that was sent to teach the word of God and to liberate people from captivity. He went into the temple. Let me tell you, Jesus could not challenge the philosophy and the theology of the Pharisees if he had not studied what they stood for. So at the age of 12, 3 days of his life, no food. He never went for lunch, no supper. He sat in the temple talking with the Pharisees. I want to understand what you understand so that I know where to bid you. 3 days. Which kind of fasting is that? And he was talking, asking questions and answering questions. He was discovering the territories upon which they function to knock them off it. We just go into things we don't know. And we just think the things we understand because we are believers. It's a lie. Go and study the life of Jesus. John chapter 3. There was Passover. That was not the Passover he break bread over. There was Passover of the Jews. And his brother said, bro, won't you go and do your miracles there so that they can believe you? Hear what his brothers told him in the house. Go and perform your miracles there so that they can believe you. In other words, we don't believe you. Well, maybe those people will do. Jesus first went there as a spy. He went and was turning around, studying until he had known what he had to know. Then he began to perform miracles. In the last day of the feast, John chapter 7, Jesus went and was studying. He waited and saw what the Pharisees were doing. When they were done with their own, he began. Anyone that thirsts, come and drink. The crowd turned. He conditioned himself, stimulated himself with everything he needed to do what he wants to do. There are those believers who go to look for shop without capital to pay rent. That one is not stimulation for progress. It will only stimulate you to be angry with yourself. You go and look shop. Yes. How much is the rent? 200,000 for 1 month, and you must pay 1 year. And you came, you don't have 50,000. It's a wrong motivation. Get at least half the money, then you go looking. God does not help a man that has not been set in motion. He doesn't. He will help you in the way. He said, I will be with you in the way, not at the house. Conditioning number 2 refers to a state of belief in which a person is placed. Somebody has been made to believe some certain things and they have been conditioned. Also just showed me a video some minutes back, and a pastor is doing deliverance in his church by kissing. Yeah, somebody sent me that video. I think it was last week. The pastor kissed the sister, and they asked her, has the demon left? The sister said no. The pastor continued the kissing. That's conditioning, you know. There's a serious conditioning that has been done there. People have been hypnotized, conditioned to be placed in a certain state of belief. There are some things some people have believed to bring them down from this. It's a waste of time. The moment these spies believed in their heart that the children of Anak are more than them, God saw that it is useless. You cannot do anything. Let me abandon them here. You will become shepherds in the desert. Stay here. Let a generation that I can nurture to believe me arise from among you. A certain state of belief in which a man is placed in. Number 3. To condition means to be powered with reflex. To be powered with reflex. An example to reflex is your eyelids. You discover that you may be looking in this direction. Then something is coming towards your eye in this direction. Without seeing the thing, your eye will close. Is that true? Have you ever noticed something like that? At times some particles just come, you don't see them, then you just close your eyes. Reflex. It has been made like that to adapt to a frequency of protection. There are people who carry scriptures in their spirit on the course of reflex. And Satan took Jesus onto a peak of a mountain and showed him the kingdoms of the world. If you bow down and worship me, instantly Jesus was responding. It is written, it is written. Instant, no time to look Bible. Brother, are you waiting to start the fasting on Monday? The word reflex comes from the word reflection. Back. You give me, I give you back. Instant, the question comes, the answers follow. They bypass on the road. You cannot measure the frequency. If you put a mirror here and show light to it, you cannot measure the time the light came to the mirror and went back and started showing. It is reflex. You meet situations, you don't wait for them to break you down. You attack them instantly and you have what it takes to handle them. You meet enemies, you don't wait to go and file your cutlass or to go and do what. You are instantly prepared. Current preparation. God speaking to somebody. What do we refer to as a territory? We looked at 3 definitions to territory in the first service. Let's add 2 more. A territory refers to an area or a field of knowledge. An area or a field of knowledge. It refers to a field of activity or experience. So when they talk about territory, don't be looking only at land. I want to go to different country, I want to buy plot. No, it's not limited. A business is a territory. Your family, as your family name like that, is a territory. So it refers to a field of an activity. A particular activity in a business is a territory. If you enter main market, there is wrapper line. That wrapper line like that, everything there is wrapper. That is their territory. You go to another place, maybe it is book line, they are selling books. If you can carry your wrapper and go to that line, you understand that there are principalities in operation in that place. That's a territory on its own. And you go even to the city council, they know that that territory like that exists in the market. When they talk to wrapper line. And wrapper line have their leaders. Then market has market master. When market master wants to talk, he contacts the line leaders. It's an area and field of activity. Number 2, territory refers to an area of interest. An area of interest and defense. Why do we need to condition ourselves to take over? Number 1, very quickly, the heavy and tense ammunition and security nature of every territory sends fear signals to men who desire to invade. So, the heavy ammunition and tense security nature of territories sends signals to people who want to invade. And so when you want to invade, there are signals of fear that come to you that makes you to just wait to go back. You want to enter main market to get a shop. You go to a place, they say no shop for this place, you default buy space for 4 million. You say, 4 million. You say, okay, at the camp, then you are gone. Those are some of the things they use to frighten people not to dare. They threaten you, you cannot enter. You buy space for a shed that the rent is 30,000. You buy the space for 4 million. And the size of the shed does not grow. And the person that takes the money has gone, no. They continue paying the 4 million. He has taken his 4 million, continue paying 30,000, sorry. They have mounted their defense to limit some certain kind of people. So it is like if you have not had money to the tons of some millions, you cannot enter a certain place to do business. But it was not supposed to be like that. The people who went and started doing business, did they have those tons of millions? Why have they conditioned it now that you should have it? So if you condition yourself against them, you can break those protocols. There was a battle in 1 Samuel chapter 17. That battle was not, Bible say, David and Goliath. It was not a battle against David and Goliath. Go and read scriptures very well. It is a battle between Israel and the Philistines. That was the battle. And when Israel and the Philistines came to the battleground, look, they came and encamped with their soldiers. Israel came and encamped with their soldiers. Then they looked at Israel like that. Who can we send to frighten these people not to fight? Then they just sent Goliath. Goliath never arranged the war. So where are you coming from? Intimidation. They want to frighten you to back out. And of a truth, 40 days Israel had backed out. David came with a different conditioning. Number 2. Why do we need to condition ourselves to take over? Number 2. Hearing the conversations and seeing the fake display of your enemies will set a man on a reverse gear, except he has been conditioned. I come again. Hearing the conversations of your enemies, seeing their displayed actions, will set a man on reverse gear. We went one time many years back to Njikwa. I was supposed to do work there. So we went with one very, in fact, that dinner I told you that we used to call it a mani. Very strong. We came to a hill. There is a hill on Njikwa Road. Anybody that has gone there, they call the hill Gay1. If you are in Njikwa, rain falls, prepare to sleep. Because if your vehicle does not have the four-wheel, they call four-wheel, I mean the four-wheel of the, in those days, Land Rover, you cannot there. So we said, no, we'll come. And we're with Mani. We came and tensioned the hill to a certain level. Mani is like the Mani refused to go. He started going behind. I asked the driver that Mani has entered by force reverse gear or what is happening. He tensions to a certain level and he cannot go. He starts going back. You cannot do anything. You see, like trucks, these big trucks, tippers and all that, they are conditioned for heavy duty and to tension heavy hills. But anytime the hill becomes more than them, they go on reverse gear, they just start going them back. You cannot do anything. The driver can only jump out. That's why you see them where they spoil, even in the middle of the road, they just stand there. You make any mistake, it may finally start taking the direction you never wished. So at times some believers listen to the conversation of their enemies. You see what they are displaying to you. Who told the children of Israel, you went to fight and you were weighing the javelin of Goliath. Here they were naming, his javelin was weighing this, his shield weighing this. In battle you are weighing the weapons of your enemy. Their conversation was threatening them. The display of weapons frightened them and they ran away. Some of us, you go to open shop in a place, then the neighbors who are already there, you want can say waiting. I want to say close. Who close business? They work cafe here. They just start, and that is what the person is preparing to start selling. They work cafe here. Go for that other line. That line, so that period they say close them, and they are sending you to go and look for a shop where they are selling onion. Conversation of your enemies. See, anything your enemies discuss to your hearing was prepared for you to hear. Whatever your enemies display to your seeing was prepared for you to see. They have an information they want you to catch. And when you catch it, they begin to manipulate you from a distance. Don't try it. Number 3, intimidation is the conceptual strategy of territories. Therefore, conditioning is revising their strategy before going on them. Intimidation is a conceptual strategy of territories, most territories. They intimidate you, they frighten you. Before any war, there is intimidation. Before any invasion, there is intimidation. It is a man that has guts, that has been conditioned for that purpose, that can enter into it. See, Gamaliel in Acts chapter 6 was talking about the apostles. He said, let us stop there. He said, leave them. Many other people had come like them. He never said the people are fake. Many people have said fake people came, and he never said they are fake. He said many came like them. And before it was time, we found them no more. Let us leave them. Let us also check. He was not also saying that these guys are authentic. He said leave them to time. Let us just intimidate them from a distance and see whether they... That's the strategy, intimidation. Now, I want to tell you something. That the people who were in Canaan, they knew that Israelites, they came there to spy. They knew it. That's why they brought the sons of Anak. They just came and were moving. There are some certain places you go there, you just see some people with Fafan Moses. They have beaten many of them in town here. They don't have power. Don't mind those fat hands you see. They are doing weightlifting, not fight strategy. You go to that, they don't do kung fu, no karate, nothing. They are only carrying iron, and their hands and their chest is going big to intimidate you. Is Goliath not their senior brother? What did David do with stone? Don't try it. They just frighten you to run. As they have a way they behave. When you come, they start twisting their hands. And you see the chest grow big. You start telling your heart that if this man slaps you, never bow to intimidation. Number 5, divine capacity to overthrow powers is always being mocked at the verge of takeover. Divine capacity to overthrow powers is always being mocked at the verge of takeover. Therefore, man must be conditioned to maintain focus. One of the highest time you receive mockery is when you are at the verge of taking over. One of the highest time I was being rejected as a pastor is when Beulah was about to start. I've been pastoring, they called me pastor. When Beulah was about to start, they said I was a protocol. Who even tell me to go open church? Okay, it is now. Mockery at the verge of takeover. When Satan knows that you are about to defeat it, he starts asking, who are you? What do you? Mockery. He looked at David, you come to meet me with stones. Am I a dog? David said, that's what you are. Because I'll finish you today. We were in our own sight as ants. They were as giants. Mockery at the verge of takeover. When you submit to mockery, your story will remain at where it is. Men who challenge their mockery are men who shine the light of Christ. We don't play. Question: what are the available areas for self-conditioning? What are the available areas for self-conditioning? Available areas for self-conditioning. Number 1, God consciousness conditioning. God consciousness conditioning. Daniel 11:32. But they that know their God shall be strong, and they shall do exploits. God conscious conditioning. Numbers 14:20-27. God spoke to Moses. He said, these children are abandoned them. Shepherds in the wilderness they will become. Only Caleb and Joshua, my servants, who stood up for me. God conscious conditioning. Number 2, faith-based conditioning. Faith-based conditioning. The conditioning that is based on faith. Faith in struggles brings God to face your battles. Faith in struggles brings God to face your battles. David went, see, it's not in every time that God will give you or tell you what to do. At times you walk on past victories to challenge and take over new territories. You get that? At times you do what? Walk on past victories to challenge and take over new territories. My Lord, your servant was taking care of the sheep of his father, and there came a bear to devour one of them. I caught it and tore it with my bare hand. Saul said, what? You? He said, don't mind. The second one was lion. It came, picked the sheep and was running. I went after it, caught it with my hands and tore it. Saul said, boy. He said, then this is the point. Moreover, the God that delivered me from the bear and the lion will deliver this uncircumcised. The glories of past victories speak when territories seem impossible. They speak. Number 3 is victory conditioning. Victory conditioning. Victory conditioning. Victory is first a mindset that shows how ready you are to take over. Victory is first a mindset. If you see yourself winning here, you will win there. Numbers 13 from verse 16. She read it. And Caleb and Joshua still the people. Quiet! Let us go at once and take it off. The Lord has given it up. You say there are some people at the verge of your success. They tell you just wait some more, wait some more. More see. Then they tell you, say no, more wait here, wait till God will talk. Christmas market they pass around the 15th of December. You are supposed to have been selling everything. Oh. They are saying you just wait. You know when God forget, when God talk, even 3 days if he say all things. They know what they are doing to you. They know. They want you to hold. Then on the 24th, they tell you that now we're done with Saturday, 24th. God not talk. Then they think that they just sell her. They are just wicked people who ask you, let us wait to hear what God will say when God had already spoken. It is paramount wickedness to humanity to ask men to wait when God is already moving. Not just wait. More hear what God is saying. And God has spoken. Diligence. Caleb said, let us go over and take the land. He has already given it. The command had already been given. He has given it to us. What has God commanded you to do and you are still lacking to do? What has God commanded you to do and you are lacking to do? A pastor came yesterday to see me. Immediately he entered my office. I looked at him and I told him, you are late for your assignment and you are coming to see me to talk ministry. He said, yes, Papa, that's why I came. You are 2 years behind schedule. He said he's coming from Yaoundé and a pastor met him in Yaoundé. He went and fellowshiped in the church and the pastor told him, you are 2 years behind schedule. I say, hurry up, because what God commanded you to do, you are about to lose it. He said he has had 3 visions. He is about to enter a bus to go to a particular city, and that is where his assignment is. The first time the boss left him and was going, he ran and overtook the bus and then met the boss at a checkpoint. I said, that is the last warning. He said, it is true, Papa, because I had another dream yesterday before coming to see you today. This time the boss left me and I could not even run to meet him. I said, look out. If I am you, I'll pack my things and start going to the place. Just go and sit me there and be looking at God. Let God find me there. Let God find me there. Than that he's looking for me there and he's not seeing me. It's risky. Risky to miss commandment from God. Risky to stay in a place God has abandoned you there. Risky to go where God has not commanded you to go. Number 3 or number 2. How to condition yourself for takeover. Number 2, consider secrecy as a lifestyle. Make secrecy your lifestyle. The privacy between God and a man must be kept with all jealousy and secrecy. Life with God is sacred and must be kept secret. Talkatives do not go far in life. Those people will come. Goliath came talking too much. Ended in 1 second. The spies came back, talkative. Caleb wants to talk, they are not accepting. They spoke, Caleb gave them time to talk. When Caleb talked, they came back and said it's a lie. And God said, you have ended here. Life with God is sacred. S-A. And must be kept sacred. S-E. No matter how much you know, consider secrecy as a lifestyle. For he that dwells in the sacred place, God is a man of secrets. That's why they are revealed, because they are secrets. He that dwelleth in the sacred place of the Most High shall abide. So secrecy is a habitation to those who know it. Psalms 27 from verse 14 say, for in the days of trouble he will hide me in his sacred place. See, when you become a talkative, you don't know where to hide in the days of shame. That's why God does not reveal everything about him to a man at once, so that you keep coming to him. When you know all, you will not be there again. God speaking to somebody. And finally, number 3, how do we condition ourselves to take over? Act in obedience, not by convenience. Act in obedience, not by convenience. Act in what? And not by what? Experience has proven that convenience has never meant obedience. The zeal to obey stamps the seal against delay in the life of any person. The zeal to obey stamps the seal against delay. You want to obey God, obey him. You don't want, don't. Jesus spoke a parable in Matthew 21, 28 to 30. A man had 2 sons. And he got up to the younger and said, my son, please go to the farm and harvest some fruit. He said, Daddy, I'm not going anywhere. And maybe some fathers, bad picking, I must suffer that with you. But Jesus later said, he refused like that and later on went. And the father, thinking that the first had refused, went to the elder son. My son, can you go to the farm? He said, yes, Daddy, I'm going. I'm going now like this. Entered the room, climbed on his bed and slept. And Jesus said, who amongst the 2 children did obey the father? There are very few places in scripture that Jesus asked a question and did not give the answer. Go and check this one. He said, who among the 2? Then he answered. The first. He's the one that he answered it automatically. Question and answer session. There are those people, like, God is saying, go now, you are looking. I don't have the money. I don't. I don't. Okay, God, when I'll have a good job, I'll do it. And suddenly you had the job and you don't hear God talk again to you. Since job was your problem, go and do your problem. I was calling you for something greater than this. My son, I want you to do this. Can you wait? Let me finish with this. God should wait for you. The only thing that Bible tells us that God, they say God is patient in long suffering. He is patient in anger. That's the only place. Bible has never told us that God is patient to wait for a man. He is only slow to get angry. He will never wait for you. Act for God based on obedience. If God has said, do, then it's done. I'm going. If he says, I should stop work, I'm stopping the work. The day I resigned from work, I did not discuss it with her in the morning. Because I did not know I'm about to resign. We never discussed it. She's here. Went to the office. I was at work 7 o'clock. Sat on my desk, organized my cubicle, and I was working. Till now, I have not understood what came upon me. I just picked a typing sheet, wrote letter of resignation. My boss entered. I just followed him and gave. He said, hey, yes, I want to go and serve God. Take. He said, okay. I just left and was singing and was going. From Commercial Avenue, I was singing with my back. Food market on foot. Climbed Fish Point Hill on foot. I was very happy. Church Street, I was moving. It was around Taringu Market. I knew that I was on foot. I took a bike to the house, entered the house, greeted her, went to the bed, climbed and started sleeping. From 9:30 to 7 a.m. the following morning, I was sleeping. I did not discuss with her. In the morning when I got up, he said, guy, what happened? I said, I resigned. That's madness. I resigned. We did not discuss it. I never knew. We never spoke about it. I just resigned. 2 weeks we were in the house. I get up every morning. She is dry cleaner. I help her to wash the dishes. We cook our food. I was not disturbed guy. Sitting in the house. Just happy I resigned. And God was happy with me. Sir, if God smiles at you, sun and moon will begin to hurry to favor you. Obey him. Now, I was resigning work at that time at a minimum salary of 300,000 with a credit union debt of 8.7 million. Interest had gone to added to 9.8 million. I was resigning work with that on my head. No security to pay the loan. We are living. We are living. Not at convenience, but as a matter of obedience. We are gone. Oh, you are living company car in your name. That company is failing. You do your things. I'm living. Nobody could understand. So now many people have not understood. We want to settle you with a branch. Don't bother living. Just take the branch. Everything they take. I am living. They have not understood till now. They may not understand till tomorrow. Not every journey to a territory that will bring you glory starts in luxury. Not all. The obedience of God by man must bring you to some levels of suffering to test your commitment to purpose. Very happy. Ever happy for one thing more than any other thing, that I obeyed God. That's all. That's all. Till today, there is no person I took my phone, called the person to come. To where? There are people I paid the reins before God and man. They are not here. They are where I left. I paid rents 25,000 for 6 months to root them in church. I'm speaking on the altar of God. 25,000 times 6 is how much? 300,000. Family that was abandoned. I have not called them with my phone to come to church. Not important. They were about to face eviction. The husband had gone to Dubai House. Mortgage even the little land they had, just foundation on it. I saw a woman that could easily launch into prostitution with the load that was on her head. And God told me, act. Now, the money I used to help her pay the bills, that landlord had seized their things and was about to send her to waiting trial, was money I took to do some people's work. It was not up to my interest. They just gave me the money. God said, act. I sent my hand there. She knows. I don't like holding money. Because it's like when it is with me, do. And I put my nose down as a pig. Just arrive somewhere and you say, where is this? Obey God. Rise up to your feet. Make obedience to God your priority for life. We were living, I never thought what our children will eat. It was not anything that was in my mind. We were living at that time. Our house, we had just empty concrete on the floor. Nothing to hold. The chairs we had were torn. We had bought chair cover, put it, the chair cover to itself was bad. Leave. Not looking at anything. We left. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. In you I live and move and have my being. Hosanna to Jehovah. You are the air that I breathe. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. In you I live and move and have my being. Nothing without you. Without you, you are the air that I breathe. Nothing without you, without you, without you. In you I live and move. One more time. Without you, you are the other. You are the air that I breathe. Nothing without you. Nothing without you. In you I live and move and have my being. David, go to the hill. What are you doing in the house? Go and take care of the sheep. And God said, David, go. And while upon the hills, he was separated from men for God to see only him. Have you ever been in a scenario that only one channel is showing on your television, and whether you like it or not, you must watch the television? No, I remember in those days of Syria TV alone that we were watching Renaissance the Islam. One time you start getting angry, but you must watch it. David went to a place where he was conditioned only for God to see him and him alone. Kaya, I have seen a man after my heart. Forget Saul. Where are you? What is the level of your obedience? You don't need to preach to me to pay tithes. We were obeying that construction, paying in millions, with no profit at the end, to ensure that we please God. At that time, I had 2 suits. 2. And they were second hand that were given to me. And 2 second-handed shoes with the first ever shoe I was ever able to buy at the cost of 20,000. That was all my property. Dancing and giving to God. One prayer for you before the pastors come to take us into prayer. Father, I ask for grace to obey you, no matter the condition or the circumstance. Grace to obey you, no matter the condition, no matter the circumstance. Let obedience to you become a priority for my living. Go ahead and talk to him.